A'ja Wilson is upset that Caitlin was able to pursue the possibility of relocating to Europe. A'ja has already made demands to be the face of Nike, and the amount of money Caitlin may earn elsewhere is now creating tension.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from...
A'ja's unhappy because she feels that since Caitlin won MVP, she should be the most talked about player and receive the most opportunities. But that isn't the case. If she moves overseas, she will be the highest paid women's basketball star in the world.
A'ja Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? And why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why exactly? Why when A'ja was releasing the shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
We still have players in the league that act jealously, which is why Caitlin needs to quit even though she has improved sponsorship deals, paid more, and made the WNBA one of the most watched sports. Let's examine a game in which Caitlin Clark is not present.
It's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league. She's learned how to play the game, and she said, I had to learn how to play the WNBA well.
Despite the fact that there were no WNBA fans before Caitlin's arrival, A'ja believes she is a star. Caitlin ought to be the top paid player. Maybe she will relocate overseas and demonstrate to players like A'ja Wilson what life will be like without her.
If you guys take a look at the stands, all the seats, even the courtside seats, are empty.
The WNBA has been rocked by the possibility that Caitlin Clark would negotiate a deal with the European Basketball League. Europe has always been regarded as a haven for elite athletes in a variety of sports, with competitive leagues providing lucrative contracts and Caitlin with international renown. Playing in Europe has substantial financial benefits, with earnings frequently surpassing those provided by the WNBA. Europe offers a chance to maintain its high level of dominance in the game while securing a prosperous future.
4 moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. I'm not finished. Attendance for the entire league is up nearly 50% this year, and Indiana leads all teams with an average attendance of 17,035, up 319% from a year ago.
A'ja Wilson has expressed a displeasure with Caitlin Clark's deal in Europe, and the main source of her annoyance is money. A'ja has long dominated the WNBA, so the notion that Caitlin could make more money overseas hurts. In the world of professional sports, the highest paid players are frequently regarded as the most valuable both on and off the court. For A'ja, this change in earning potential threatens her position as one of the league's top players. It's not just about financial security. It's also about the recognition that comes with being the highest paid player. A'ja, who has dedicated her life to establishing her reputation and secure her place in the WNBA, must now confront the unsettling possibility that Caitlin's rising star may overshadow her. For someone who has represented the league for many years, this is a hard pill to take.
Went from being one of the most loved teams in the WNBA to being riddled with so much drama this season. A'ja Wilson was under fire last week for the privileged comment that she made to Kelsey Plum.
But money isn't the only factor. A'ja's response to Caitlin's contract with Europe is also based on her fear of losing her position as the league's leading figure. For years, Caitlin has been a name that people think of when they talk about women's basketball. But her quick rise has altered that. The idea that Caitlin could not only surpass her, but also steal the show abroad is a blow to A'ja's sense of security and prominence in the sport. Being the face of the WNBA is about more than just being a fantastic player. It's about being the athlete who captivates the public's attention, drives viewership, and represents the league internationally. Although A'ja Wilson has had this role for a while, the two celebrities are now engaged in a heated rivalry as a result of Caitlin Clark's ascent.
I don't agree with it. I thought she would be unanimous. I mean, it's not even close. Because I said the most important person in the league is Caitlin Clark and should be a top 5, if not, it should have been a top 3 MVP.
One of the most obvious distinctions between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark is how fans view them. For A'ja, it's not just about being the best player. It's also about staying relevant in a quickly evolving landscape where Caitlin's name is becoming synonymous with the future of women's basketball. Due to Caitlyn's rapid growth of a devoted fan base that enthusiastically supports her on and off the court, her strong social media presence, and a high viewing of her games, there is now a noticeable gap between the two players. Despite her years of success, A'ja has not been able to maintain the same level of fan loyalty that Caitlyn seems to command effortlessly. One reason for this is that Caitlyn's entry into the WNBA has given the league a new narrative, and fans see her as the sport's future, while A'ja, despite her constant dominance, is seen as part of the league's past. Another reason is the excitement of new talent, which draws fans to the next big thing.
You're supposed to be the MVP and you only got one win out of that series. That's why I think, now I wonder if they had a 5-game series in the first round, there might be a possibility they may not win that series.
A'ja is frustrated by this lack of fan acknowledgement since she has put a lot of effort into creating her legacy, and yet someone who has just recently started to make an impression is overshadowing her. A'ja is worried that as Caitlyn's army of supporters expands, her own fan base may decline, placing her in a less influential position within the league and in the public eye. This isn't just about losing fans. It's about losing relevance in a league where fan loyalty can make or break a player's career. Winning MVP ought to have cemented her as a WNBA spokesperson, but instead she's observing Caitlyn steal the show. There are some perplexing things about Caitlyn. Despite everything that Caitlyn has done for the WNBA in terms of advocacy and viewership, she has encountered resistance from within the league. This resistance is surprising considering that Caitlyn has not only raised awareness of women's basketball, but also introduced significant changes like charter jets for player travel. Why would the WNBA, an organization that ought to be celebrating its stars, treat Caitlyn this way? The nature of change holds part of the solution. Caitlyn embodies a new generation of athletes who question the current quo.
People were so bad, they got the number 1 pick. You got to be bad to get the number 1 pick. And she led them to their first 20-win season in almost a decade. She led them to the playoffs. I mean, the girl deserved the award.
Her candor, her quick ascent to fame, and her determination to demand better terms have made her a contentious figure. Some view her as a player who is appending the league too quickly and a threat to the status quo. But this resistance is also about power. Kin's influence has increased to the point where she can make demands, and people accustomed to controlling the narrative may find that kind of power unsettling.
LeBron James had tennis shoes in his rookie year. He didn't have a fraction of the impact on the NBA that Caitlin Clark has had on the W.
The league's unwillingness to provide full support. Caitlyn represents a larger conflict between retaining authority and giving players a say. Beyond her onk, Caitlin Clark has made significant contributions to the WNBA. One of the most noticeable effects Caitlyn has had on the league is the launch of charter jets, which greatly enhance player travel circumstances prior to her lobbying. WNBA players had to contend with demanding travel itineraries that frequently left them exhausted and unable to provide their best effort. So they pushed for charter jets. In addition to improving travel conditions, Caitlyn has been a strong advocate for enhancing the WNBA players' overall experience, from fair compensation to improved working conditions. She was able to make her fellow athletes' surroundings more professional and comfortable so they could concentrate on what they do best, play basketball. She has become a leader in the league because of her willingness to voice these concerns, even though doing so has drawn criticism from some of her peers and the league itself. Despite her persistent attempts to bring about constructive improvements that benefit everyone, Caitlyn's accomplishments have not been widely acknowledged, nor has her work been honored. Caitlyn is currently the subject of controversy. There's a divide between those who embrace Caitlyn's vision for future and those who are opposed to the changes she represents, since some players, like A.A. Wilson, view her quest for change as a challenge to the status quo.
Clark, number 1 in jersey sales, Angel Reese 2, Sabrina 3, Kate Martin 4. We talked about this earlier in the season. I feel sad that Kate Martin also hasn't gotten as much playing time the second half of the season. I feel like she deserves more, or maybe she deserves a different team. How crazy would that be if she went to Indiana?
The effect on viewing would be one of the WNBA's biggest worries if Caitlin Clark chose to move to Europe. When Caitlyn is on the court, viewership soars, but when she is not, the league noticeably loses viewers. If Caitlyn were to leave the WNBA for Europe, the league would lose not only one of its best players, but also a sizable portion of its audience. Caitlyn has become one of the league's most popular players, with fans tuning in specifically to watch her play her dynamic style of basketball and her ability to connect with fans on a personal level. A league that is still trying to expand its fan base and raise its profile would find it difficult, if not impossible, to fill the vacuum left by Caitlin's departure because of her unparalleled ability to draw spectators. Losing a player like Caitlin could have disastrous effects on the league as a whole, but it would also affect individual players like A'ja Wilson. With fewer fans attending games, sponsorship deals and endorsement opportunities would probably decline, which would have an impact on players' incomes and capacity to develop their personal brands. If Caitlin quits and takes a sizable percentage of the audience with her, A'ja, who has already voiced dissatisfaction at Caitlin's rising star, will be in an even more challenging position. A'ja beyond the court, Wilson is also annoyed by Caitlin Clark in the realm of endorsements, especially with Nike. Although Caitlin has received a lot of promotion from the brand, a Nike athlete for years, has worked hard to establish her brand and solidify her place as one of the company's top athletes. However, despite Caitlin's growing popularity, Nike has been slow to fully embrace her, and she has been largely sidelined due to the controversy surrounding her and the league A'ja. This is not just about money. It's about recognition and influence. Endorsements play a crucial role in an athlete's career, helping to shape their public image and giving them the means to continue competing at the highest level. Nike's reluctance to fully support the fine line that brands must walk between promoting elite talent and averting controversy is shown by Caitlin.
That the paying customer, the audience, didn't feel that way. They did not give a damn about the WNBA. Is that fair to the ladies? No, it isn't fair. But they're the paying customer. You don't tell them what they want. They tell you what they want. And they really were not feeling the WNBA to the degree that they're feeling the WNBA now, obviously because of Caitlin Clark.
Despite her greatest attempts to improve the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has received a lot of criticism from the league, as well as some of her teammates. This criticism begs a crucial question of why Caitlin is perceived as being so misunderstood from the outside, which may seem confusing. Why does Caitlin encounter such animosity when she has only served to promote the WNBA, boost viewership, enhance player conditions, and fight for the league's survival? Players like A'ja Wilson, who have been in the game longer and have put a lot of effort into building their names, may feel envious and frustrated because many players strive for years to obtain the kind of recognition that Caitlin has in a short amount of time. Although Caitlin's success can seem like a threat, her departure to Europe marks a turning point for her personally and for the league as a whole. The contract gives her a new beginning away from the animosity she has encountered in the WNBA. Europe offers financial security and the opportunity to advance her career internationally, but the WNBA may suffer greatly if she leaves.
This is expected of Caitlin Clark. She's supposed to be great. She's not the Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is, because that's a surprise, which to me is wrong. Should LeBron not have won the Rookie of the Year because he was supposed to?
Losing Caitlin would result in a decline in viewership and fan interaction, endangering the league's expansion. This choice would also change the power dynamics in women's basketball, as Europe becomes a new destination for elite players. In order to retain future stars, the WNBA must choose whether to modify and enhance player conditions or run the danger of losing more talent to chances abroad. If you like Caitlin's decision, please leave a like. It will set the tone for the WNBA's future, influencing the league's development and the players' trajectories. Additionally, subscribe to see more videos today.
Regardless of whatever noise has been out there. So when you show that you're able to perform in the face of adversity, to me, that is the true testament to greatness. And that's why we're looking at her and we're saying greatness is on.